If you're an administrator right now, I have a tremendous amount of respect and empathy for you. At the beginning of the pandemic, school administrators in the US literally had to make public health decisions that got put on their desk. They knew they weren't going to be able to make a decision that was going to satisfy everyone, and in many respects, they were set up to fail. And we haven't even paused yet to acknowledge that. We've had to move on from responding to one crisis after another. And within that, a lot of animosity and resentment and exhaustion can show up at times because sometimes administrators get the brunt of teachers' frustrations, of the frustration of families and caregivers and parents, the frustration of students, the kind of political and divisive climate that we're in the midst of. And so here we have these individuals, these human beings that are basically running schools, which are like small cities, with not a lot of support, not a lot of guidance, and not a lot of other colleagues to turn to in those moments. And it's especially painful for me when I work with a school where I've started to see a fracture showing up between the teachers and their administrator. Because there's so much exhaustion and fatigue and frustration, where's that going to go? Inevitably, it's going to start to impact the ways we treat one another. And so I want to especially encourage my administrators to lean in and find those colleagues, those other administrators you can call and vent to or laugh with or share some successes and victories with, and think about some ways to, as best you can, care for yourself. And also then be willing to offer your educators, your teachers that are within your school some grace, and find those ways to reach out and connect. I've heard time and again from teachers who have kind of these superstar administrators who, in the midst of all of this change and crisis and turmoil and stress, found time to call and check in if they hear that a teacher, has gotten sick, or that something's happened in their family, or just to offer a note of thanks and appreciation and put it in that teacher's mailbox, or to send that email. Those little things we do to connect, to let our teachers know that they're valued, that we're grateful for them, and that we're all in this together. And I think sometimes it's about the simple things we do. And then there can also be more meaningful conversations around, do we need to look at our priorities? What do we need to put first? How do we need to allocate our time, our resources? What type of professional development do our educators feel is the most meaningful to them right now? So there can also be some kind of more structural systemic changes, but I think it begins in a very human way between two people, or between an administrator and their teachers, which is, how are you? You matter to me. Thank you.
For more information about social and emotional learning, please visit adlit.org. This project was made possible by a partnership between the National Education Association and WETA.